Have you ever heard someone say they only told you that story so that they could tell you this one? That's how it feels once you get into Season 3 of Babylon 5, when everything kicks ass. And it's Thursday, you know what that means? It's time for us to have another Throwback Thursday. And we're gonna go back in time, throw up that celebration, because Heart of the Stories we tell, and me, Rob the host, is going to take us back to a quick nostalgic look and see how a story was that might be a little bit on the older side. So celebrate your week almost being over as we look at Point of No Return, Babylon 5 Season 3. And we're just getting right into this here. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. We're going to do this a little differently this time. Why? Because Babylon 5 Season 3 just goes crazy epic. Everything gets turned up to 11. We meet some new characters, so I will still do the character, but realistically, the setting's the same setting we've been dealing with this whole time, the themes and symbols and all of that, so we're just going to jump right into what makes Babylon 5 so badass. If you haven't seen it yet, this is your cue, because watching this should tell you that the entire series is worth watching, and I'm not saying it's not, but Seasons 3 and 4 are solid gold. The story is pitch perfect, the actors are all superb, for its time the special effects were out of this world. In fact, I can honestly say, I think this might have been J. Michael Straczynski's perfect series. Now having said that, let's get started with some setting stuff. Just because we've started here every time, and I feel like there's part of me that thinks that you specifically need to hear the opening. This time, it's narrated by the commander, Ivanova.
The Babylon Project was our last best hope for peace. It failed. But in the year of the Shadow War, it became something greater. Our last best hope for victory. The year is 2260. The place, Babylon 5.
Like I said, we have one new character and one returning character we're going to need to talk about in character section. So let's start with that, and then we'll get into the real difference in this review. With the exception of the pilot that I didn't mention, we have the same characters as always, but we're introduced to Marcus Cole. He's a ranger, and what are rangers? Well, we'll get into specifics in a little bit, because they're one of the good, but they're basically a Special Forces Minbari human hybrid. I have this toy hanging on my wall. And Patricia Tellman comes back as the telepath, Lita Alexander. The basic plot has extended to a whole new season, which is a new year. It's still a UN in space, although a little less so now, and a little more war footing. The whole cast is back, and let's get into what makes this so badassly awesome of a season. Alright, so in the comment sections below some of my other videos, people asked when we were getting to some of this stuff. So let's talk about some of the highlights. And where I want to talk about individual episodes a little more in this, I think we should start with the best part. The new ship. The greatest ship ever. Meet the White Star. The White Star is a battle cruiser designed by the Minbari with Vorlon tech helping them. That's why the skin has that living texture that's moving. It's fast, it's strong, and it's going to become a whole fleet in Season 4. It's the main attack cruisers of the Alliance against the Shadows, and it's a ship that's under command of Sheridan most of the time. It is just amazing to see it move. And remember I said the special effects hold up? Part of the reason is because they did some of the first three-dimensional modeling on TV. Now, Sheridan himself has this great scene the first time that he's on it, where he asks Delenn, I noticed that there's artificial gravity, and she's like, oh yeah, the Minbari have had that for years. And just remember, the Minbari are super advanced compared to Earth, but the Vorlons leapfrog them, and this is a hybrid. This is both Vorlon tech and Minbari tech, so it's really far out there. It can open its own jump gates even though it's only a small ship. It's capable of taking full-on blasts right to it that would cut through other ships like nothing. And on top of that, its firepower is comparable to a ship 3 to 4 times its size. And all of that plus its hull is living, which means it learns and it adapts and it gets stronger the more you teach it. All in all, this ship is amazing. It's maneuverable, it's fast, it's strong. And just blows me away. A Matter for Honor, the first episode of the season, starts with Marcus coming asking for help. The introduction of the White Star. The Shadows have blockaded a ranger base, and the Shadows are coming to destroy it. The only hope they have is if the White Star can blow up the blockade and get them before the Shadows arrive. Because once the Shadows arrive, there's no fighting them. They're just gonna curb stomp even a White Star. So, of course, you know what happens, right? The Shadows show up. And as such, Delenn has this whole argument. You have to retreat. We have to run. No one has ever defeated one of those ships before. To which Sheridan has the most badass line ever. With all due respect, Ambassador, I've been told that before. Remember, he blew up a Minbari ship when everyone said it was impossible. And of course, the heroes win. I won't tell you how, because it's an awesome trick you need to watch to believe. Now, remember how the Shadows and Vorlons are first ones? Well, by episode 5 of the series, Voices of Authority, Ivanova and Marcus, who have started to have a little will they won't they flirtation going on, go out in the White Star to find other first ones. And way back in season 1 we saw one, and so we get to come back and meet them again. It's pretty cool, although these first few episodes are nothing compared to what's coming next. Because what's coming next is the big reveals. Episodes 9 and 10 of the series totally change what the series is all about. Because you see, Earth Force, that whole conspiracy, finally kicks in, and they declare martial law. And Sheridan has to say, up yours, not doing it, and then secede from the Earth Alliance. Babylon 5 is now an independent city-state. And of course, when the Earth Force comes, Delenn comes to the rescue with White Stars and other Minbari ships. And she gets the most badass line ever. The only human to ever withstand a Minbari assault is behind me. You are in front of me. If you value your life, choose somewhere else to be. We then get the episode that has Ceremonies of Light and Darkness, where Delenn gives the crew new uniforms, the black ones that we see for the rest of the series. They're not quite Earth Force anymore. Now, they're this alliance of light facing off against the Shadows. And then we have the next several episodes kind of just filling in the new status quo. Just in time for it to get hit in the face with Booyah. The Shadow War kicks off to a whole new level when Sheridan has to ask Kosh for help. Because the other members of the Alliance are all like, is it even possible to beat the Shadows without something? And Sheridan has to go to him and be like, look, we need a victory. Can you go defeat some Shadow ships with your Vorlon ships? And he goes, no, if we get involved, things are going to get worse. And they do. But they give them the victory. And Kosh dies because of it. Not a lot of time to mourn him, though, because then, War Without End, Part 1 and 2. The best episodes of the show ever. In fact, they are solid platinum episodes. If Season 3 is the best season, these are the best 2 episodes. Sinclair comes back. Remember Babylon Squared in Season 1, when the Babylon Station appeared and appeared to be drawn into the future? This is where we're getting it. This is where it's going. The Great Machine is opening a hole in time. Sinclair, Sheridan, Delenn, and a handful of others, with this guy Zathros, have to go back and steal Babylon 4. It's not coming to the future, though. Because you see, in the last days of the last Shadow War, everything was lost. The Shadows had blown up their base. Babylon 4 is going backwards in time, so that the Shadows come out of the last war as hurt as they did, and things don't get messed up. It's a whole intricate, like, you have to watch these episodes 3 or 4 times to get everything. But the end just blows me away. You are the one that was, you are the one that is, and you are the one that will be. In several of my Game of Thrones reviews, I use this image. The dragon has 3 heads. You are the one that was, you are the one that is, you are the one that will be. But the most shocking part is Sinclair goes back in time and is the founder of the Minbari religion. He is Valen. Now, I know what you're going to say, all of that stuff, and then what? Well, then we get more war, more intricate things going on, and maybe most importantly, we finally have Zahadum. All of this, and I haven't even touched on a third of what you could talk about with this season. But this video is already running long, and there's so many other things I want to get to. So, I just am going to try to quickly speed round what's really going on. The war isn't just a war physically, it's a war mentally over who gets to decide what's going on. The Vorlons, who up till now have been seen as the heroes of the story. Remember, they look like angels? Well, that's kind of manipulative. And even though up till now we've seen nothing but battle being for the good, this comes out to be an entire series of events that the Vorlons have manipulated. So, my question is, what do you guys think of Babylon 5 so far? Have you watched all of them? Have you really considered what's going on? Do any of you that have seen War Without End agree with my platinum rating for it, or my platinum rating for the series overall? Let me know down in the comments. Also, let me know what your favorite episode of Season 3 was, or your favorite line, because there are just so many to pick from. And of course, this channel would always be helped out if you like and share this video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to build a community here, one that can examine stories, and I am so excited about getting to deal with Season 3 and 4 of Babylon 5, because they are some of the best stories. But I'd also like to hear what your thoughts are on them. I hope you have a good day, and thank you for walking with me through the heart of Babylon 5, one of the best stories we've told.